Yeah, Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire. Fed up with the same news, no channel to use. Cruise control mentalities, here we offer you. We gon' show you a new way. The content, it never strays from positive and uplifting. Once a week, the scope gifted. With the presence of your eyes, what a distraction. Beautiful to soul, especially in action. This year, not ration. Came in abundance. Films like in Sundance, tech like the pop art. Tachi Queen, you are Curtis, a beast heart. You must carry, cause MCs they all vary. And seldom do they motivate. World full of hate. We serve a hope on a plate across different platforms. Let's hear a buffet, hydration like Boucher. Don't focus on a day, we always here for you. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settled in our knowledge and conversations, gon' make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. MediaScope when you emotionally broke. Settle in our knowledge and conversations, gon' make them yours. What we run is Olympic, now your hands on the torch. Take it easy like Sundays on the porch. Now you award winning with no award tours. This culture meets the art. Podcast with the heart and essence of the growth. The power's in the people. Without you, we ain't equal. What we lack is ego. We're back now, so here we go. Run the show like Arsenio. Episodic, our rituals, minds change through visual. Representation of our nation and its differences. Some explanation of our uniqueness and innocence. Mass media's intention is to desensitize. We raise the wise and knowledge is power. Without it, we turn coward and proud of a known product. Like we could take it with us. I wish the greats were still alive and here with us, but it is what it is. We're left here to share our gift, and that's precisely what we'll do with it. Shape shift and fluidly, we can pass this test and still in our unity, elevating through stress. Yes, MediaScope when you emotionally broke.
What is up, party people? This is the last MediaScope of 2021. Oh, by the way, that's the name of this show. This is MediaScope, a show where we talk all about media, tech, and pop culture. We are in season 6 of this wonderfulness, plus a lot of fun and foolishness. My name is Tachi. I'm a media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, also a journalist. We do this every week, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And guess what? We've got a pre-show on Instagram at 5-ish. Never 5 o'clock, 5-ish. But I couldn't do any of this, of course, without you all out there, but also a one sickly MC Curtis. Curtis, are you here?
Hey, everybody.
Did you purposely clear your mic?
I did that purposely.
You did that on prom? Like, please don't, conjure up empathy. But we do feel bad. We heard you're not feeling that great, and we're sorry. We're going to send you some chicken soup. Let me tell you my favorite soup that works actually really well. Chicken soup is great. I really like matzo ball soup.
Where do you get that from?
You probably get it from a deli. You can get it from a deli. Any place that has Jewish foods you can get.
Okay.
Let me tell you, that's a good remedy. I mean, any hot liquid will help, but there's something about matzo ball soup that I just love. There's a really good place by me that has great matzo ball soup. So if you like that, and it has the matzo made of matzo meal in it, which is actually, the crackers, they kind of crush them up and make them into like dumplings.
Oh, interesting. So no meat or anything, but just that cracker kind of.
I think it has chicken broth, so it's not vegan.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose you could make matzo ball soup with like vegetable broth. I suppose you could, but most of the time it's made with chicken broth. But it's usually it's kosher, so there's no pork broth or anything.
Right. But you would get it from the deli though, rather than like
from the deli, from a deli that has like Jewish food. There are a lot of delis mostly are Jewish, so you probably would get it from there. You could. They sell it if you have a section in your local grocery store. They also have sections that they have matzo ball soup. So they may have it already prepared or where you can prepare it yourself. But I don't think it's terribly difficult to make if you look up a recipe or ask somebody Jewish who may know how to make it. Okay. Matzo ball soup is the bomb, I'm telling you.
Good stuff. Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, before we guess what, people? I am the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving. We have a guest today. I am I am. Curtis is laughing, but I am. I love giving gifts. I really do. I love giving people gifts,
Yeah, I just have
especially.
to.
What happened? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying at times I just have to say, just stop giving, Sadi. Just stop giving me so many gifts.
I can't stand you. Go eat some matzo ball soup, sir. But look who's here. Speaking of the gift that keeps on giving, Serena is here with the MediaScope food truck. Beep, beep. Who's got the keys to the Jeep? Or no, the food truck. Vroom. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Lenora is here. Hello. And she said you can get it at Cat's Deli. Right. If you're in New York City, you can get it at Cat's Deli. Absolutely. I don't know if Cat's has locations other places.
Mhm.
I know they don't have one here, but I know that they call South Florida the sixth borough, which means there are going to be an awful lot of New Yorkers and an awful lot
Right.
of New Yorkers who are Jewish that live here. So that's why we have, a lot of delis. But I love matzo ball soup. So Timothy Hall, thank you for letting us know the food truck pulled up. Go ahead, MC.
No, I'm saying I definitely have to try that because I actually never heard of it before.
Yeah, it's great stuff. If you like soup, now I love soup. Soup
Mhm.
for me is fantastic. In fact, Gary Lanham and I, we've connected over soup. So anytime when Gary and I would meet, he'd be like, let's go to Storks and have some soup. That was our thing. Still is our thing. So
Nice.
Nation of Wabiria has made her presence known. Wabiri is the songstress, the greatest songstress ever. Thank you so much, Wabiri, for being here. We appreciate you. Let's see. And guess what? It is Taco Wednesday. We're not here on Tuesdays, but we certainly can give you some tacos on Taco Wednesday. So there is a Taco Wednesday special, folks. Get your tacos while it's good. And guess what? I think you're going to have a little bit of an advantage because MC is moving a little slower today since he's not feeling so well. But something tells me that's not going to stop him from getting some libations. So
Nice.
Anna is here too. Anna says, Katz's Deli is legendary. It really is. It's a legendary place in New York. Sorry, what were you saying, MC?
I can't
Okay.
remember what I was going to say.
Great. So brain fog. That's all right. So what we're going to do is before we get to our guests, we're going to talk about the New Year's specials that we have. Buy one, get one free. All drinks and desserts are on MC Curtis. Oh, I forgot to tell you. She put the tab, all this on your tab. She even did that in the
No
IG.
wonder I'm not feeling well.
That just made you sick all the way
It's
around,
making
huh?
me sick right now.
Your body just kind of, something's not right here. We're
Right.
hemorrhaging money somehow, and this was it.
Yes.
But we thank you for the gift, MC. Thank you so much. And Anna says, thank you for hosting this joy. Oh, I'm so glad. Well, I have more joy. Oh, Serena says that you need a hot toddy, MC Curtis. And she says, have one on me. It's Jack Daniels, lemon, honey, and hot tea.
I'll take it.
Guess what? He's going to take... Oh, my gosh. But Serena, you know he's going... Why is that sip so long? Why is that sip so damn long?
That's the last corner. Like if you're drinking either be a cocktail, that's that corner. You kind of tilt the glass to the side and just let that.
Serena, thank you for that. But he's just going to skip the tea, lemon, and honey and just drink the Jack Daniels, right? So he's like, can't I just heat up the Jack Daniels? Has anybody ever had hot alcohol by itself? I'm sure that's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, my grandmother actually would give it to us as we were kids. Not a whole lot, but yeah, she would give it to us.
On a spoon or in a cup?
No, in a spoon.
Okay.
Or on a spoon. In a spoon or on a spoon, yeah.
Was it delicious? Probably not.
At the time, no, it was, really strong, but because it definitely cleared your chest,
I bet it did.
Any kind of congestion was out of there.
Wow. Anna says whiskey, hot whiskey. And MC Curtis Brooks, we will put the tab on your boss from the club wherever you dance. Oh, that's definitely going to get him let go. So you better get well soon so you can get your last dance.
Right?
And one flawless one is here. Hey, one flawless one. It says jalapeno vodka is gross. You know, I've never tried that, but I've heard of it. Ugh. Anyway, well, she said hot toddies clear everything out, so you've got one on us today. And now for our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited. Whenever I can bring experts to you, it is great. It's a great thing for me. So this is Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, Happy Christmas Kwanzaa. Okay, let's just roll it all into one. This is your gift from me. Her name is Jasmine Graham, and she will be right back with us after this to talk about social media with us. Curtis? Jasmine Graham, what's up?
What's up? Hey, MediaScope. Massive. What's going on, Dr. Tachi and my fellow
Not-
MC Curtis?
Yes, because we've dubbed you MC Jazz. How are you doing? How has your holiday been?
It's been chill, quiet. I've been home mostly home, just chilling out.
You sound like you've been chilling out. You almost sound like MC Curtis because you know he's always chill. So
I've
I
been
wanted
chilling.
you. I see. So we wanted you to come on today because you are the expert when it comes to social media. So actually, we know you as part of the MediaScope Massive, but would you do me a favor, introduce yourself to the MediaScope Massive formally and what you do?
Sure. So again, my name is Jasmine Graham. I'm a social media strategist and manager, and I work primarily with small business owners, but mostly with people who are building their influence on social media. So that can be someone who's a speaker, a trainer, authors, people who have online courses, things of that nature. So I work primarily with people looking to build their expertise online and the notoriety online, and then work on pushing their community off of social media onto their email list or their online platform, whatever online platform that they choose. And I focus on organic growth, not paid advertising and paid Facebook ads, but primarily how do we organically curate a community on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube that and so yeah, that'll be pretty much the theme that I'm going off of as we talk today.
Absolutely. Well, no, that's great. Well, so there are a couple of things out of that you said that I want to ask about. So, number one, is there a difference between influencing people and being an influencer? So, we have that term influencer, and often when we talk about that, we talk about the people that are quote Instagram famous, that have large followings, that have a large amount of engagement. But is there a difference between someone who is influential and someone who is an influencer?
I would say yes. If you think about the people who are influential, you think about people whose names kind of stand the test of time, if I can say it that way. So think about influential people like presidents or history makers like Shirley Chisholm or Martin Luther King. Those people are influential. They can not just move the masses, but they can have an impact on people way past even, beyond their life here on earth. When I think of influencers, I do think of people who are, Instagram famous or social media famous, even. There are some people who may be making an impact, like you think about like a Jay Shetty or someone like that, who are making impactful moves right now. But for the most part, if you're selling, uh, tea on social media, you're more of an influencer, in my opinion, than someone who's influential.
Can you cross over to become an influential person from being influencer to influential? And is that something you help people with?
I wouldn't. Hmm, that's an interesting question. I think you can, right? Because how someone starts isn't necessarily how they'll end. I
Right.
know I've seen many people who have started off um, just from observation, there's people who I've seen just start off and they may not even realize like what they're doing to become an influencer. And then over time, like they walk that road of being that influencer road or track that people take of, getting the brand deals and all that stuff. And then there is a switch, I think. And I think I'm seeing it more now, honestly, than in recent years, where there's it's almost like a graduation in
Mm.
my opinion, where there's
Okay.
so many people who have been like on that influencer path for so long, and they've made their money and all that stuff, and now they're like, okay, I can see them transitioning, like, okay, what's next for me, what's next for my brand, for my family, what more is there to do, or even they're just tired of that influencer world. And so I'm starting to see them kind of, like I said, graduate into other sectors. And that can be people that come to mind, I'll say, are like Kev on Stage with his Kev on Stage
Yeah.
Studio app, right? That's more
Yes.
influential. That's someone who is making an impact
Okay.
far beyond just having brand deals. He's really blazing a trail, and even though it may be like difficult, and for him personally and his business personally, it's different, it's new. But I think he's definitely like blazing a trail for other creators, and I see
Mm.
other creators who are close to him following his lead. So I would
Right.
say yes. Well, can I help people do that?
Mhm.
Um, I'm gonna say yeah. Why
Yes, you
not?
can. Yeah. Yes, the answer is always yes. I mean, yes.
Why not?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you bring up a good thing with Kev on Stage, and then the whole thing about brand deals. Because in my mind, the whole thing is it's great to get brand deals. There are an awful lot of I know there's one YouTuber in particular that I love to watch, Monroe Steele,
Hmm.
and she is a fashion and beauty and lifestyle vlogger, basically, and travel. And so she talked very candidly about how much she makes from the different aspects of what she does from YouTube. Obviously, Google AdSense being one
Hmm.
part of it. Also, the brand deals. And she said that she actually has like about, I think, $45,000 in brand deals currently. And
Hmm.
so, which is, a great thing. But I always think ahead, it's like, all right, well, how long do brand deals last? Obviously, there's a contract that you have with them. Are they going to be renewed? Is this something you have to constantly work towards? So it feels to me that brand deals should be a part of it, but that you also need to be working on other things actively as well. Would you say
Hmm.
that's the case?
Yes, yes, you're on the right track. And I think I talk a little bit about that. I'll talk a little bit about that today.
Okay.
Um, but yes, for sure, that's just a sliver of the pie. And again, it's still new. I don't think that, people doing brand deals and things like that is even 10 years old yet, right? So it is still new. The idea and the concept of a regular person like you or me, being tapped on the shoulder by a well-known company and them saying, "Hey, I want to work with you." You do have to continuously, yes, to answer that question, yes, you do have to continuously work at it, securing those deals and maintaining those relationships, right? Going to the events. Well, now that things are still closed down more, not necessarily those events in person, but maybe virtually, but you still have to be proactive in securing those deals and maintaining those relationships. So thinking big picture, right? And like saying, what is it that I want for my brand, or what is it that I want for my business? I think more and more people, if you sit down and you think about that first, right? Before you say, okay, I want to become an influencer, because some people, that's what they want to say. They are saying they want to do. I just want to
Right.
be an influencer now because they see the money that people are making, right? But if you really sit down and think about, okay, what is this going to help me achieve? Is it going to help my acting career, my music career? Is it going
Right.
to help me launch my dream, excuse me, my dream business? You know what I mean? Is it going to help me become a speaker? Whatever it is, I
Right.
think you have to go into it nowadays more strategically than the people who, you know, kind of like paved the trail for
Right.
brand deals.
It feels like it was kind of by accident, especially since, like you said, having these brand deals is still a new thing, and so I think sometimes people just fell into it. And then there's
Hmm.
also this whole thing of people seeing influencers like, God forgive me, but the Kardashians, who
Right.
aren't particularly talented in any one thing, but because of relationships and people interested in what they do, they were able to swing these partnerships and brand deals and all these, and then spin them off into brands. Like if you look at Kylie and her
Hmm.
makeup line, or is it even a full makeup line? It's like a lip gloss line of something
I'm
like
not.
that.
I don't know what it is, but she's making $1 billion.
And
That's
that's
all
all
I
that
know.
matters. It could be 2 lip glosses, and that's all that
Hmm.
matters,
She's making a
So
billion.
it's she's making $1 billion. Yeah, yeah. So it's she. I think sometimes feels like sometimes people look at those type of people, or they look at people who have recently become hot on TikTok or any of these social platforms, and there's a misconception of what it actually takes to do that.
Hmm. Hmm.
There
A
is a
thousand
lot of
percent.
work.
There is a lot of work that goes into building your brand, whether you are an expert, you're building your brand as an expert, or you're building your brand as an actress, there, or whatever it is, there is a lot of work that goes into that, right? Building that presence on social media. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of people really don't get it. And that's rightfully so, because I don't think you're necessarily supposed to get it. It's like making a movie, right? Like I'm not going to know what it takes, all the details that goes into making a movie. But you do, Dr. Tati, right? So,
Correct.
so you're going to approach it differently than I would, pick it like how they say, oh, just use your iPhone to make a movie nowadays. I can pick up
Mm,
my phone and think I'm going to make a movie with my iPhone, but I'm not
mhm.
necessarily going to make the best movie versus someone who has the expertise and who knows what the mechanics are behind it, right? It's like podcast, same thing with podcasting. Like that's such a hot thing now, but there's so much work and that goes into podcast content, period, right? It's such a big thing. Blogs, videos, podcasts, social media content. It's such a huge opportunity there for anyone to get into it and be successful, but it does require a lot of work.
It does. And I think that sometimes people don't realize the amount of work that it requires. They think it sounds cool to say, "Oh, I have a podcast,"
Right.
or "Oh, I have a live stream," or I'm a YouTuber." But do you know all of the forget we could say prep is one thing, but it's also the post production of all of this. If you're a
Yes.
YouTuber and you're not doing live, you have to sit there and edit stuff unless you hire someone to do this. The overwhelming majority of people who are just starting out don't have the money to pay an editor for either a podcast or a live stream
Yes.
or group of videos, so they have to do it themselves. And this is why they quickly decide, I don't want to do this
I don't want to do
anymore.
this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And that's outside of whatever other responsibilities you have in your life, you know? So,
Exactly.
yeah, people, you got to take all of these things into consideration. There is a lot. I've worked on a few podcasts, like behind the scenes, helping like with the production of a few podcasts. And I remember I did a live one with a company, and literally there were of, pages of, that we had to review just before we even got the guests.
Hmm.
And then there's the production itself. And then, like you said, there's the post production. And that's something that a lot of people don't think about is the post production is you have to think of all the steps nowadays when it comes to content creation.
Recording is the quote, the easy part. It's
That's
the
the easy part.
preparation and yeah, it is. And even that's not easy, but it's easier than everything else. So this is a great trajectory to go on. And I want to continue on this trajectory, but I also want to take some comments and say, folks, if you're just joining us, welcome to the fold. This is MediaScope. We talk all about media, tech, and pop culture. This is the last show of 2021, and then we're going to take a break until the middle of February. But I'm glad that you joined us today. I am Tachi, media professor, filmmaker, media content producer, and also a journalist, the person behind the scenes who is, keeping a stiff upper lip in the wake of not feeling too well today is a one MC Curtis. He is the producer of this whole thing. And I am super excited because today we have social media strategist and social media manager, Jasmine Graham, who also happens to be a member of the MediaScope Massive. So we're going to take some comments. Patricia Murray is here. Hey, Pat Murray. She says hello. And Serena Wills is really excited that Jazz is here. She says, hey, Jazz.
Serena.
And one flawless one also says, hey, Jazz.
That's my friend Lenise. Hey, Lenise.
I knew she knew somebody here because I'm like, hey, how are you, Lenise? Thank you, and welcome to the MediaScope Massive. Also, Tiana Marie says, we love Jasmine Graham, and we certainly do.
And I love her. That's my little sister.
Oh, yay, little sister. And chill is good, says Anna. I agree. It's served MC Curtis well all these years. Pat Murray also says, look at the lower thirds and graphics. Well, will we come on and embarrass ourselves in front of the MediaScope Massive? I say never. To that, I say never. Patricia Murray says, I'm a dimfluencer striving to become an influencer. Interesting choice of terms. Damon John is both influential and an influencer. Anna, that's an excellent example. Absolutely. And one flawless one says influencers do it all the time. It's about content. Absolutely. It is about content. It really is. And Pat Murray says she's noticing that Kev on Stage is in commercials now. And for those of you who don't know Kev on Stage, he's a comedian. He's also a social media personality. He is with this whole cohort of other comedians that have what's our good friend Tony Baker.
Tony Baker. Mm-hmm.
Also, you know who I'm talking about. Fair skin with freckles and red hair.
Tahir Angel.
More, right?
Yep. Angel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's with a whole contingency of people. And MC Curtis, don't slurp too loudly backstage, but here's some soup for you. Soup's on. So Serena has gifted you the gift of soup. And Sandra McBride is here. Hey, Sandra, she says, this is an excellent question. She asks, what is one suggestion on how to get started? Now that's really broad, but I'm guessing, Sandra, that you're talking about someone who, and hello, Barry's daughter. How are you, Kim Sanchez? Good to see you. I'm guessing you're talking about someone who doesn't have very much of a social media presence. And I guess that this would be a good point actually to, in just a minute, to get into some of the tips and things that we have. Yes, don't you think? I think so too. I think so too. Let's see. I think I got everybody. Tuggy, I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so to Sandra's question and Sandra's point, let us get into the tips. So we're talking about actually now transitioning to getting yourself ready to be social media savvy and to leverage social media in the best way in the upcoming year. Maybe next year you're just getting ready to get started. What's your top 5?
My top 5 are these things, and I was looking over my notes, and I'm pretty consistent. And I'm going to be honest. My top 5 for this year are the top 5 I say all the time. So to start, I'm going to say the first thing that my first tip is to focus on your mindset, because a lot of people really, social media is a whole nother animal, right? And if you're not used to using social media to promote your business or brand, it can really take a toll on you. Like honestly, it really can. And not only before, not even that when you're doing the work, even before you start, like just building up your confidence to have the, like the confidence to really just post your content, share yourself, share who you are. This is a social media is social, so you want to be active as possible, and letting people in on who you are and what you have to offer the world. And so with that, like I said, mindset is the biggest thing, or the number one tip that I would say that people focus on. Like,
So can I
don't
interrupt
focus.
you for a moment?
Yes, please.
So when you're saying mindset, are we saying that people need to change their mindset or simply just add to what their mindset already is? Are we talking about a complete shift, a paradigm shift?
I'm talking about, you may say, I have like a, so just take, for example, people may look at, like we just talked about, what someone else is doing on social media and say, okay, it's working for them. I can do that. I'm going all in. And then when it doesn't work, they're discouraged.
Mm,
So if you kind of go into it with the mindset of like, yes, this is going to take work. This is going to take effort for me to do, and consistently, that's one way that you can kind of rewire your mind,
okay.
especially when it comes to like comparing yourself to other people. The other thing is that, again, it is a lot of work and it can be overwhelming. And so we do have to develop the mindset of persistence, right? And follow through, and just continually, and even discipline, right? To create the content, to evaluate what's working and what's not, right? So that's another thing. I would say another tip that I would share is to get to know your audience, um, especially if there's a lot of people here who may be new to marketing themselves on social media, whether it's your brand or whether it's your business. You still have to get to know who your audience is. For me, for an example, I know that my business focuses on, like I said, people who are building their expertise on social media, right? Or developing their brand on social media, and people who don't have the time to manage their social media. So those are the people that I'm looking for. And there's specific people with under that. Even if I dig down even farther, I could say that there's specific people even within that I'm looking to work with. And so any content that I create, whether it's a blog, my website, my social media content, it has to speak to those individuals. And yeah. And so with that, I would say, and I hope if anyone has a paper and pen, feel free to, write these little tips down. If not, you can just rewind and watch it again. But I would say ask yourself these questions, like as you are, like considering who your audience is. So you have to think about what's the age group, right? What's the age group for the product or service that you're selling? Um, are you selling, or are you appealing to a all male audience, an all female audience, or is it a mixed audience, right? Are they young or old? Um, what's their income level, right? Some people may look at like my, for instance, my Calendly, where I do my free, where I have my discovery call intake form. It asks people, what's your what's your financial? It asks about financials because I want to know if they can afford my services or not. The same thing can apply for you if you are selling body products, hair products, right? Whatever the case may be, home goods. You have to take into consideration as you are, before you even create the content, who are you speaking to? Do they have children? What's their ideal social media platform, right? Because all social
Mhm.
media platforms don't operate the same.
Right.
So that's something that you have to take into account. Like, where are you going to find these people? Don't think that you can throw something up on, or not throw, but that you can put a video up on TikTok and then it's going to work the same way on YouTube. Those are two different platforms. And so you have to take those things into account. I'm
So
sorry,
may I
Dr.
ask a
Tachi, you want to say
question?
something? Hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question about. I was actually, laughing at first, but then I did want to ask a question about how people would go about finding out who their audience is? Do you do a survey? Do you just watch others that are doing content similar to what you would like to do? And so that's how you figure out. How would one figure out who their audience is?
You're answering these questions that I'm naming. Like you literally have to sit
Well,
down and answer these questions for yourself because you want to know who are you looking to attract to you. You have to you the social media business owner. I'm not social media business owner, but the business owner or the brand. You have to sit down and take the time to say, okay, who do I want to attract to my brand, so that when they start to come, you can know, yes, this person is for me, or no, this person isn't for me. So
so
it's
what do
literally
you
taking the
think?
time to
Sorry,
answer those questions. No, I was just saying it's
taking the
literally
time to
taking the
answer.
time. Yep.
So I do have something else to ask, but I didn't want to interrupt your flow of the points. Keep going.
Oh, sure. Okay. I'm almost done with these questions.
Okay. Yeah, go
And
ahead.
then also ask, what is their struggle, right? You want to also ask yourself, what's their struggle? Is it, if you are making a skincare line, is it dry skin? Is it, I don't know, is it dry skin, or is it like you want to focus on uh, shea butter, whatever it is? Like you have to figure out like what the struggle is for the person um, that's going to be in your audience and that you want to attract to your business. The other thing is, um, focus on, if you can summarize based upon all that information, and there's still so many more like drill down questions that you can ask, but based upon all that information, if you can summarize within a single sentence what think about like the one thing that your client or your avatar wants the most, what would that be? Is it time freedom? Is it
Mm.
a cure to ash, right? If you're selling shea butter, is it something for a hair product? Like, is it a certain curl definition that they're looking for their hair? Like, is it clothes? Is it something with clothing? Right? I'm a tall woman, so someone that would design clothes for me specifically. They know it's lengthen the arms, lengthen the legs, right? So
Mhm,
those are the
mhm,
things. Like, what can you answer? And then also the last thing is, what will their life look like after they purchase a product? They purchase
mm.
a product from you, or purchase, or buy into your service. What will their life look like? And then you can start to build from there. So don't think like you got
Mm,
to focus on the content first. You need to focus on the people first. And then
mhm.
once you start focusing on the people, then you can say, okay, this is how I will serve them the content.
So you're trying to serve them and you're trying to answer questions or solve problems that they may have. And your content is actually secondary to that. So once you figure out what's there, then you can tailor content to them. But
Hmm.
I can imagine that you still need to pay attention to how your audience likes to have their content served. Some
Hmm.
people probably, a lot of people love video, but what I found in my experience is that people love well produced video, but you probably will get a lot of hits with not slickly produced video. The selfie video that you would do as well.
Hmm.
So just paying attention to what resonates with your audience and doing that. Would you agree?
1,000%. 1,000%. I think
Good.
that's being able to take the time out to pay attention to, like I said, who your audience is, but then what they want. You're not going to know off the top, of course, because especially if you're just getting started or you're like reviving your page or what have you, right? I mean, I go through this with my own page, right? Like it's like you want to stand out, you want to be noticed, um, and there's so much competition. How can I do that? And that's when you have to like really focus on the people, focus on the people that you're trying to reach, and then the content that you create will support like the goal, your overall goal. Um, your insights are what you need to be looking at and paying attention to. Again, taking the time like you would for building that client or that audience avatar. You also need to take the time to look at the insights. So how are your posts performing? How is your content performing? And I would say, just for the sake of I guessing, and people can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, if you're on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, like that's the primary places where people are looking right now, and probably TikTok also. But I would say look at your insights. They're very user friendly now. Look at your insights and look at primarily the comments, the likes, and the shares, right? Those are the
Okay.
things that you're going to look at your posts. It's going to show you like each post, right? Or each post in the feed, your reels, your stories, right? Most of these platforms really break it down nowadays to where like
Mm-hmm.
they focus on each individual part of or component of their platform. And they'll give you the insights for those, and look at those and see, okay, how did my video perform with that? I just picked up my phone and I just did a selfie video, right? How did that perform versus my slickly produced video where I hired a team, right, to help me create it? And that's just testing, and that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with testing content, photos, first videos, because the thing to keep in mind is that even you can post a video and people may not see it. You can post
Mm-hmm.
a reel and people may see it. So the thing that we always say, especially a lot of social media marketers, you may have heard them say before, is like you want to continuously, you may have to repeat yourself, because sometimes it takes up to like 7 times for people to even get or click that, you are on their, like you're on the scene and like what you're saying is valid. So just continuously repeating yourself, and sometimes it may seem like, dang, I'm saying the same thing again, but yes, you may need to say the same thing again.
Jasmine, I, I'm going to take some comments and questions after this, but I do that Be More Earth series as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So my Achilles heel is that even after I brought on a whole attorney to talk about copyright, patent, trademark, and using copyrighted music, and then I said, well, maybe people are still putting, I do not own the rights to this song. So maybe they didn't hear the first time. So let me come
They
on
didn't
and
hear it.
reiterate why you're not supposed to do it.
Hmm.
And then I still see people doing it. And I'm not saying I'm going to reach everyone, but amongst the people that I thought may see it, I'm still seeing them do it. So that resonated with me, what you just said, that you may have to say, but I think I'm done talking about it, but you
Yeah,
may have to repeat yourself for the
you may have to
message to
repeat
get
it,
out.
and you may have to use different ways to do it, because like you said, everyone may not see the post in the feed, but they may see your story, or they may see, and I'm not saying that specifically, but it could be whatever the topic is, right? It could be your story. It may be doing a live video that you do. You know what I mean? And you may have
Mhm.
more people that look at your live and really interact with you on your live. And the other thing is that, you know, um, you want to have that use your comments as well as a way to gauge like how people are receiving your content that you put out, especially like on social,
Good idea.
on Instagram and TikTok, right? Look at your comments, and also put a call to action, right, in your caption or in your video or in your swipe, whatever it is, and tell them, hey, send me a DM if this resonated with you, or send me a DM to if you want more information, or send me a DM. I'm looking to work with however many people. Send me a DM if this is you, right? So
Hmm.
that these people know, then you'll know, like, okay, people are paying attention. Right. So yes, look at your insights, but also look at your comments, and then also have a call to action. So to test and see, again, it's all about,
Mm.
sometimes you do have to test different ways to get your messaging out there. Okay, the call to action that I did, what I told people to DM, I got 50 DMs versus my post in my feed where I got no comments. And so then you see that you
Mm.
have more people that are interacting with you on your lives, or that are looking to directly communicate with you about whatever it is.
Excellent, because people also may not want to have that question or that query out there for everyone to see. So
Right.
DMing you is a way that they can ask without everybody seeing what they're going to ask. So that's excellent. Excellent
Yes.
indeed. Let's take some comments as before we go on. So Anna brought this up that Dr. I. Addison Zhang has a new planner that might be useful in terms of, I guess, it's social media planning. Now, I has actually been a guest on MediaScope before. I think it was about
Mhm.
2 years ago. She was a guest on MediaScope. This was actually before I knew you. Before we knew CQ or any of that. So
Yeah.
I was definitely check her out. And look who has joined us. C Love, CC Mitchell is here. Hello,
Hey,
my dear.
CC.
Welcome. Welcome. One Flawless One also says you could take a free digital course first if you are not social media or tech savvy. And that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And hey, Dana is here. Hello. I actually needed
Hey,
to hear this
Dana.
today, Queen Jazz. Thank you, she says. Welcome, Dana, to the fold. You are
You're
now part of the
welcome.
MediaScope Massive. Thank you so much. Serena Wills, as I put up before, is feverishly taking notes. I hope that also means that you are manning or, womaning the MediaScope food truck, 'cause we don't want theft now. Make
We
sure
don't
there's
want
stuff
that.
at the end of the day. No.
And we don't want people hungry.
We don't want people hungry. You know they depend on us for food now.
Yes.
So Tiana says she's taking notes that this is good. Oh, this is excellent. This is absolutely excellent. Jade Bain is here. Hello. And she says, listening from the Bahamas. Hello, Jade.
Nice.
Thank you so much for being here. And you know, if you missed anything, you can listen in the Bahamas and the rest of the Caribbean on Gospel 107.1 FM. If you happen to miss this, it will be replaying tomorrow at 8 p.m. So absolutely, absolutely. Cece says, "Come through, Jazz, with all the gems." Exactly, exactly. And our good friend Kim Sanchez says, "Great point." Oh, and Susan Engels is here. My new friend, and she says, "Sorry, I'm late." Oh, there's no such thing as late on MediaScope, my dear. You're right on time. So thank you for being here. It's good to see you. And look who's here, Miss Tris Beats. Tris, how are you? She says, "Great topic."
Hey,
Thank you
Tris
so much.
Beats.
Yeah, I love Tris Beats. She is the DJ extraordinaire. So thank you for
Mm-hmm.
being here. Serena says that this is like a masterclass, and I have to agree. The fact that's why I'm like, when she said take notes, seriously, she was like, if you wish. No, if you wish. I need you all to take notes. See, if you were in my class and I see you not taking notes, you know, as a college professor, I'm over you like, where's your pen and paper? So I'm looking right down at you because this is too valuable and too good. Look, you ordinarily this is the type of stuff that you pay for. So when we have somebody willing to give of her time, please definitely take notes. And CC Mitchell says, yes, focus on the people first. And
Mm-hmm.
I hope I am saying your name. Is it Sharake? I hope I'm saying it properly.
Sharika.
Oh, is
Sharika.
it is
Mm-hmm.
Sharika? Not Sharake. Okay. Sharika. I was thrown off by the E, but it's beautiful. Hello, welcome. And she said, yes, what is the solution to your problem? She also says repetition, repetition, repetition. Rhoda is here and says your dreams online. Okay. Thank you, Rhoda. And let's see. Making sure that we've got everybody. Nation of Waberia is making sure we know. Waberia is making sure we know she's taking notes. I know you were taking notes. I know you, Wabiri. I know you. So thank you so much. And yeah, you are also absolutely welcome. This stays up. You can watch the replay as many times as you like. By the way, you know, MC Curtis is going to get on me for this, but if you are watching over on YouTube, we're trying to build YouTube. So go ahead and make sure that you like this video. And if you like what we do here, make sure that you subscribe. We would, thank you, MC Curtis. See, he's not drinking all the soup. He's actually working too. So you can follow us on YouTube. We would love that. You can subscribe, and then we do this every week. That way you'll get a notification. Turn on the notification bells. Thank you for that, MC Curtis. So let's do this. We have a question from Wabiri before we continue on. Asks, can you talk about repurposing content? And this is excellent.
I wonder what way she's talking about repurposing.
Yes, and I just kind of left it there, but let's leave it open. Maybe
Yeah.
how to repurpose content, the best ways to repurpose content. I'll leave that to you.
Okay. Wow. This is a good question though, honestly, because again, in the world where we have so many things fighting for our attention, sometimes you can't focus on, okay, producing something new, right? So repurposing content is really, really a good topic. I would say just from like a few ideas for repurposing content, I would say um, start with like your main piece of content, right? So what's your main piece of content? And that would be like more of a long form piece of content. Is it your live that you do? Is it um, is it a live stream? Is it a YouTube video? Is it a podcast? Is it a blog? Right? Something more longer. And then I would say from there, you would create that piece of content. And then from there, you would kind of take bits and pieces from that content. Say some of your strongest points from your live video, or some of the key points that people need to focus on in a blog, or the best quote that your guest said in a podcast, right? And then you will pull those things out and create smaller pieces of content. And those smaller pieces of content can be in the form of pictures. They can be in the form of graphics, infographics, I would say. Nowadays, people do a lot of swipes. Those really do really well, especially on Instagram, not really on Facebook. But if you're focusing on Instagram, like the swipe posts do really well in creating like those. Um, and what else? What else? What else? I would say even just pulling out a video clip. So you would just edit live video. Now you can save your video, whether it's YouTube, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram. You can save your live video and quickly edit it in your phone, or edit it in whatever editing software you have, and pull out those key tips and create 2, 3, 4, 5 video clips that you can use. Not They don't have to all be used at the same time. You can use them throughout the month. Use them throughout 2 months, however you want to spread it out, right? Um, and then I would say you can talk about those tips, right, on your IG stories and let people know, hey, I just did a post, blah, 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 on my, tell me what you thought, right? And then you could create a poll, or you can create a question box, and let people know, like, hey, tell me what you think of this. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Um, those are just a few things that I'm really thinking about when it comes to repurposing content. And again, you don't necessarily have to do everything all at once, right? Like you don't have to say, okay, I'm writing this blog, or I'm going to do this IG live or this Facebook live, and then after I do that, all of these posts have to coincide with that. No, you can definitely spread it out over time, so that but always remember to have a call to action, letting people know, if you want more, if you want to see more of this, like you just did, Dr. Tachi, right? Make sure
Mhm.
you watch my YouTube video, like it, share it with someone else, right? If you want to read more about this topic, um, here's my blog information. If you want to consult with me, here's my link, right? And so always including that call to action though, in however you divide the content and repurpose the content. That would be my strategy for repurposing.
Mm. And an excellent strategy it is. Absolutely excellent. So, Sandra McBride, based off of all the wealth of knowledge and the Hogwarts School of social media that you've set up here today, is asking if you're available to help with taking careers to the next social media level, which I'm sure you are. And we
Absolutely.
will look, I answered for you. Yes, she is. Um, and
Absolutely.
what we'll do is we'll make sure that we put up put up at the end, or put in there at the end, so that people can get in contact with you.
Yes, please.
Let's see if I can get some others. Susan Engels, thank you so much for liking and subscribing. We appreciate you. And Anna says we need to sprinkle this around Meta. Absolutely.
Sprinkle it around the
Absolutely.
metaverse.
Sprinkle it around the metaverse. Absolutely. Gary Lanham says that this is great content. Thank you. Absolutely, Gary. Thank you for watching. And let's let's see. So we talked about the best ways to repurpose content, and yes, absolutely, repurposing is great for purposes of repetition.
1,000%.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. You should be able to. Would you say that you should be able to, and I guess it depends on what you have, but when I look at my content and what I do, I look at how many different ways can I repurpose this. Now, for some things I'm not a fan of repurposing that, and that's just me, because
Hmm.
different platforms work differently, and you can test this out, right? If you take a piece of content and you just kind of chop it from the larger thing and put it up someplace, it may not do as well as
Right.
if you have something specifically for that platform. Now, I don't mean being platform specific, because I'm also against being platform specific, meaning I think it's okay that people do this, but you see people do this with TikTok because they have their watermark on there. They'll download it, but then they'll put it on YouTube Shorts, and then they'll put it on,
And
you put it
Reels.
everywhere,
Yeah.
and Reels, with the TikTok watermark, which I'm not a fan of. So, I always tell people, well, if you're doing video, unless you're doing something, if you're just doing regular video, and you can even learn to edit to do some of the things that TikTok does, even though it is
Hmm.
way simpler in TikTok and Reels, I would make it outside of TikTok and then put it in, or use a platform that is not going to give you that watermark. People like to feel special. So if they feel like, oh, I just downloaded this from TikTok, and that's just me. That's just me. When I always look for the watermark. And when I don't see a watermark, I'm like, oh, okay. Now that doesn't mean it's wrong to do. You can upload it, but this is also the thing that you have to think about. For example, with YouTube Shorts, if you just upload something with a TikTok watermark, you're not eligible for monetization with that.
Right.
Same thing with Snapchat. You're not eligible for monetization. So it pays to be platform agnostic. I think that's the word, to be
I
platform
agree.
agnostic.
I
Yeah.
agree. But it
Although, go
also,
ahead.
I think, I'm sorry to cut you off. I think it also
No,
pays to know how the platforms work.
correct.
So, like you said,
I agree.
like you just said, the example of TikTok versus a YouTube short, which for people who may not know what YouTube shorts are, they're YouTube's version of TikTok, right? So, yes, what you said is correct. But if you're not like really taking the time to understand how the platforms operate that you're on or you're using, then yeah, you will make those mistakes. And that's the thing that I
Mhm.
find a lot of people do. They simply don't take the time because again, it's life. Things are going at a million miles an
Yeah,
hour, but at the same time, if you want to be successful at something or successful at a platform, you have to take the time to
absolutely.
research like how it's operating. And these platforms now
Yeah,
more and more are telling you directly, this is what we are focusing on, this is
absolutely.
how it's working. Hmm.
And to say it in vernacular, don't nobody care what else you have to do. They only care about nobody
The
cares
content.
about the background. They care about the content. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is a pain to have to sit and shoot, which you know why I am a fan of batch recording, with you to have to sit and shoot
Yes.
a whole bunch of video. It is a pain to have to edit. It takes all day. It takes a long time.
It
But
takes a
if you're
long time.
committed, it does. It does. That's why before we get to questions, Gary has a question. I have to say kudos to you. You are the first person that when I did the graphic for
Hmm.
today, the little post. Not only did you repost it in your stories, but you did it as a green screen reel where you got in front of it and you said, "Hey guys, today I'm going to be," I said, "Wait, what?" You are the first person that has ever done that, which lets me know that you are the queen of all social media, because not only you saw something and it would have been very easy to just share it to your stories, right? Or turn that into a reel, but a simple reel, but you did greens where you got in front of it and explained that. To me, it was great. So I had to give you kudos for that.
Thank you. But you know what? When you asked me to do it, I already knew I was going to do. Sent me the flyer. That's what I was going to do. That's what I mean when I say you have to plan and be prepared when it comes to your content. So I already knew
Mm,
because I know how graphic, nothing against anyone that uses graphics, but I know how graphics work on social media. They don't work.
mhm.
People don't see them. So I was like, okay, I already knew when you asked me a couple weeks ago. I'm just gonna when she sends me the graphic, whatever it is, I'm just gonna make it a reel with the green screen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I need to be better about doing more reels. It's just that, but nobody cares. But when you do all this other kind of content, you get to the point of doing the reel and say, okay, I'm too tired.
Oh yeah.
So I know that
It
I
took
need to
me it took
do
me at
better.
least five it took me at least 5 tries to do that reel. 5, 6 tries.
It's a repeated tries. It's not all
Mhm.
one take. That's another thing. You're shooting, but it's not all in one take. You may decide, I don't like that take. I'm going to do it over.
Yep.
So absolutely. So let's get to some questions. So Gary Lanham says repurpose is the key. He is a very social media savvy person, and he has a question for you. He says, "What do you think about short content that's less than 90 seconds long?"
I think you should use it, especially now because of TikTok. Like we just, said, like everything isn't uh don't don't focus just on um don't think that everything that applies to one platform applies to all. That's true. But also keep in mind that TikTok is a rising star, so it's still new. But it literally shot into the stratosphere during the pandemic, and it is jockeying for the number one position right after Instagram. And so, as we see with Reels and other things that TikTok does, that Instagram and Facebook even are starting to do, and YouTube are starting to do as well, short video content is something that should be incorporated into your strategy, especially with video being such a huge thing and focus now for social brands outside of social audio, but with Instagram, Facebook, of course TikTok, right? Having those short snippets, and I think Snapchat really led the way with that, but really being able to
Yeah.
convey your message in quick 15, 30-second bites are a game changer, especially when you're thinking about the feed itself and how people's feeds are set up. It's only going to show you if you do a 90-second video, for instance, or if you're doing a long video. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to make sure when you do that long video that you catch people's attention in the first 15, 30 seconds. I think Instagram now specifically lengthen like the preview um, duration on their feed. But
Mhm.
yeah, you have to be able to catch people's attention quick nowadays. And again, like we said, there's so much competing uh, for people's attention now that even short videos make sense just because people are like, okay, after 2 minutes, okay, get to the point, unless they're watching like
Right.
YouTube or maybe a
Right.
live or something like that. But if they're on their feed, after a while, they're like, okay, scrolling,
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
100%. There are a couple of other questions that I know. Like, we don't want to keep you here all day, so there are a couple of other questions. Not even just a couple, a few other questions I want to get to. One thing that I want to say too about when it comes to video or whatever, I know there's one thing that you all should be aware of, that all of these platforms will take the first frame of your video as the thumbnail. So if you try to start with a fade in, your first frame is going to be a black screen.
Mhm.
Now, depending on what the platform is, you can go in and put another thumbnail, but ask yourself, do I really need to fade in from black for it to be effective, or can I just start with the first frame? Same thing as if you have what is it, lettering that flies in. If
Right.
it doesn't start right away, you have just whatever the picture is and no lettering, no description, no
Mhm.
title. So if you again, depending on what the platform is, you are able to take a screenshot of that and put it as the thumbnail. But sometimes you don't have that luxury. So you have to be very specific when it comes to video about making sure that whatever that first frame is where you want it to start, because that's these social media platforms pick up the very first frame. I just wanted to put
Yes.
that out there because it reminded me of that. So let's take this from Sharika. She says being platform specific limits you. I also heard a few years ago that Twitter folk dislike it when you repost from IG. Is that so, Jazz?
I don't know. I don't think it necessarily works. I mean, I know you have the option to share
Mhm.
from, say, Instagram to Twitter, but personally, I just don't like the way it looks because it's just a link, to whatever the post is. No one can really see what it is. So I personally don't do that just because I don't like the way that looks. But I don't know if they necessarily like it or not. I just don't think it looks right. So I would just post natively to Twitter, whatever the content is, video, picture, whatever. It could be the same thing that you post on other platforms, but I would just post it right in Twitter.
Twitter likes native posting, I've noticed, natively, and you can use a posting platform, but I know that they really like native posting because even when
Hmm.
you can share from LinkedIn, for example, to Twitter. But what happens is if it's over the 280 characters, you end up
Right.
getting this link to LinkedIn, which looks terrible. And then
Yes.
it picks and chooses when it wants to put the full picture and when it doesn't. So sometimes it's just better if it's Twitter to be just a native about
Yes.
that.
Yeah. And
And
I mean,
then go ahead, sorry.
yep. I'm sorry,
Go
but
ahead.
if you're, say, for instance, you're doing a article or something like that, like you said, like LinkedIn, if you are posting an article, you can most definitely include the link to whatever that article is or to your LinkedIn
Mhm.
platform in that post itself, as long as it's within the character limits.
Wow. Wow. Okay, great. Wabiri says I read that IG will block TikTok vids.
She's probably
How
talking
how
about the
much truth is there?
watermark. She's probably talking about
Yeah,
the
the
watermark, like
watermark.
you mentioned. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I would say yeah. I would say yes. I think I may have made one or two videos on TikTok that I used on Instagram. One of them did really good, over like 100 likes for me, which is good because based upon my follower count, um, it was good. But I think that the key was that the video was entertaining. It
Mhm.
got people's attention. So the watermark did
Right.
mine. It didn't matter.
Right.
In the end of the day, people just they liked it. They thought it was funny, and they liked it, and they shared it. So
Right.
that's above anything. If people are liking and sharing it, it doesn't matter because I've seen so many videos that people use on TikTok go viral, and they
Mhm.
don't just go viral on TikTok, they go viral on Instagram as well. I think
Right.
maybe if it's like a smaller account or, it just probably depends on the content as well. That Instagram is just like, no, we're not going to show this.
Exactly. And it's not necessarily blocked per se. They just don't push it
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
in the algorithm. So it's
Hmm.
there, but nobody will see it.
Yeah. Or they'll see
So
it a couple days later. Yeah.
exactly after the fact. Also, Miss Trisbeat says this different devices to make the shorts. She says yes. Also, thought there was another question. Oh, you got that right. Creating for social media is a whole job in itself. It is, and this is why people get paid to do it. It
That's
is.
why I get paid.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Serena says yes, that you took it to the next level and use it as great. Let me tell you, I was blown because it was like when I first so when I first started teaching college students in Jamaica, I was used to the students I had were good, but but when I got to Jamaica, the level was like beyond to the point where I needed to make sure before I left the island that I had anything of theirs corrected because they'd be
Mm.
like, Professor, where's my paper? Oh, here it is. Because I was so used to the students who they were good, but not like Jamaican and
Not like that.
Bahamian students. It's
Mhm.
not like the students in the islands. So that you were like the Jamaican and Bahamian students with the way
Well,
you
thank
did it.
you.
You
I'll take it.
you
Thank you
took
very
it
much.
up to the level. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's take
Uh-oh. What happened?
Sorry, I swiped myself out trying to get this.
I was like,
Wow.
I'm just gonna stay here.
No, I swiped myself out because I said, let's take one more. And I was like, oh hell. Okay, so let's take one more. I'm back. I'm back. So Gary has a question. Let's have this be the last question. I hear all the time that our videos add value, but the comment sections don't reflect this. How do we circle these comments back into future videos and not seem to project egotism?
Mm, I'm trying to let me process the question. I think you're saying
I'll
that
come
you
back.
maybe like the questions aren't.
So the
Is
the
he
c-
saying
the
that? Is he saying that people in the comments aren't saying that the
right,
videos
well,
add
there
value, or they're not
people
leaving comments?
say people correct. People say that the videos are really good and they add value, but they're not leaving comments saying this. So in other
Mhm.
words, this will be something that he'll hear from people outside about how great and everything they are, but no, people are not leaving comments. Could it
Gotcha.
be the audience? Could it be because, obviously Gary is a realtor. A lot of the other people that are watching are other realtors. Could it be that audience doesn't specifically leave comments?
Could be.
What do you think?
That could be. It could be very much. Maybe they're just watching the videos. If they're other realtors, they're just watching it for the information, right? Him sharing the deals that he has currently, and so they don't see any need in leaving a comment. But I don't know if he does this already. But if he doesn't, if that's something that he wants to change, I would say for sure tell people in the video or at the end of the video, do an end card at the end of your video and let
Mhm,
them know, hey, leave a comment, rate, review, let us know what you think, or do you have any questions about
mhm.
this property, or tell us your favorite part about, just a simple question that's off the top of my head, but tell us your favorite part about this property or something like that, something to
S
kind of spark conversation.
So in other words, a call to action in the video as itself as opposed to in the caption, because it's happening in the caption, but, like, in the video itself, you say is would also be helpful.
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. You can do that as an end screen. You can do that as an end voiceover, right? He can do a separate video, record a separate video that he adds, at the end of every video, saying, "Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure you like it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your favorite feature in the home is, or some kind of question. Something that's going to lead the person to want to comment below." Or even, I don't know how the videos are structured, but if you say, for instance, um, be more interactive in the video, that kind of and spark conversation by, I don't know how he does it, but say he's showing the home in the video and he says,
Mhm.
"Hey, what do you think of this object?" How do you think your client would, like this object in their home? Whatever it is, just something off the top of my head, just to something to spark conversation.
Absolutely, about a specific aspect of, for example, a property.
Yeah, yeah. And if
Okay.
it's realtors um, only, then okay. But if he wants to expand his audience to people purchasing homes, then yeah, you probably
Mhm.
have to do some research to really change how he structured the videos.
Okay. Fantastic. Jazz, let us know if people want to get in touch with you, how they can do that.
Well, you can most definitely. My DMs are open. So if anyone has a question, or they want to book a discovery call with me or learn more about my services, you can most definitely DM me, on Facebook and Instagram, JBG Digital Consulting. And then that's also my website, So JBG, www.jbg Digital Consulting. I'll probably come back to the comments on Facebook and YouTube and leave that info there too in the comment section.
Fantastic. So it's jbgdigitalconsulting.com.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to
Mhm.
type it in. But MC
I
Curtis is
almost
not
I
letting me
almost
be
sent it to
great.
you. I almost sent it to you beforehand too. I should have.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I forgot to ask. So tell me, is this right?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. So this is how you can reach Jasmine, JBG, digitalconsulting.com.
Absolutely. You can
Jasmine,
most definitely send me a note.
wonderful, fantastic. All right. Well, that about does it for us. Is there anything else that you want to put out there?
No, I would just say to everyone that's watching, thank you for watching. Thank you, Dr. Tachi. Thank you, MC Curtis, for inviting me onto the platform today. This was fun. Um, and I would just definitely say just create your content, focus on community, building community. That's something I didn't get to really talk about, but that is, as we've seen over the past 2 years specifically, a big thing that people are focusing on now. It's building communities on through social media, but it doesn't matter if they're big or small. The community that you build are going to evangelize for you. They're going to purchase from you. They're going to support you to the end. So definitely focus on that. But don't be afraid to try and try again, especially when it comes to social media as well. And that's basically it. That's basically all.
Fantastic. Well, that's more than enough, and you've given us more than enough time today. So I really want to say thank you so much, Jasmine, for coming on and gracing us with your social media knowledge. We're going to have you back in the future, so please don't think this is the last that you'll be on. We definitely would love to have you back.
I'd love to be back. Thank you.
Absolutely. And let me say thank you to all of you that tuned in today on Facebook. Thank you so much. Those of you joining us on the Tubing of the U or YouTube, thank you for being here. Those of you that are watching on Twitter, getting your Twitter on, thank you for being here on Twitter. And those of you that are going to listen tomorrow on Gospel 107.1 FM, as MC Curtis likes me to say, blessings. So we will see you all tomorrow, and come let us have Jasmine back on the screen so we can sign off with her. MC, if you want to join, you can join too. It's up to you, but I know that you're feeling a little whatever. So, but thank you so much. Hopefully you've not fallen asleep backstage with all the soup
Oh Lord.
and hot time.
Feel better, Doc. Feel better, MC Curtis.
You know MC. So Serena says this was amazing. Anna says great show. Gary Lanham says great session and thank you so much. Cece is clapping, so thank you. Hey, Terry Johnson, there's no such thing as late on MediaScope, so thank you so much for being here. Also, I think Beverly was here too. Thank you, B. Campbell, for being here. Susan Engels also says thank you, as does Kim. Thank you. Tiana also says thank you, and Pat also says Happy New Year to everyone.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Absolutely. So with that, we are going to, let me just take that off the screen. We're going to sign off the way I always do. Love you for watching. Bid you adieu. You guys, myself, MC Curtis, and our wonderful guest, Jasmine, we will all exit stage left. See you. Actually, we won't see you next week. Oh, hey, MC.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
He's like, he just woke up from a long winter's nap. That's what he sounds like. Sheesh. He was all asleep backstage, hunched over the control board. Sheesh. But thank you all so much for being here. You won't see us until second Wednesday in February. That is when we'll be back. We will be back off the entire month of January. However, on Sunday, I will be doing a conversation on IG for those of you who at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you watched the show Insecure, we are doing a media brunch. We're going to be doing brunch and talking media and insecure. So bring whatever you're having for brunch and join me, and we'll have a little bit of conversation with some other folks. All right, guys, we'll see you next year. Cheers.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah, Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire. Fed up with